I have to give voice to the people who've been writing me all day. They are pissed, and they are so upset that Republicans have agreed to this in order just to keep the record going. I hope some Republican stands up and filibusters it. Maybe it will be you, because these men and women, I just finished reading Toby Harden's book. He's going to be on today. They're struggling with PTSD. They're struggling with multiple deployments. They've got no money, no disposable income. And basically what the lame duck Congress is doing is paying for the war in Iraq and Syria by cutting active duty servicemen's benefits.
And we don't like it. We don't like it.
Then don't vote for it.
No, what you don't know, Hugh, and I have not seen you this upset for a long time. Normally, we're both upset on the same thing. What the difference is, we have to have a bill. And this bill is one that, when we started out with the Obama administration, how many people who are listening to us right now are aware that in the first 5 years of his administration, he spent $120 billion on global warming to help other countries to do these things. Look, this is the reason that he has starved the military. I remember talking to you on your show 6 years ago when I went over to Afghanistan and saw what he was going to do to the military. And that's when he did away with our only fifth-generation fighter, the F-22, did away with our lift capacity, the C-17, with our future combat system, did away with the ground-based interceptor in Poland, which is the only thing that we have to stop something coming from Iran. We're talking about huge things.
I know that, and Senator, I just don't think you should go along. I think you guys should dig in.
The military.
I think you guys should dig in and say, damn no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to balance the Pentagon's cuts on the backs of the military. And if you have to shut down the government, do it for the military. And if you don't get your end,
down the government. I'm not going to have the kids that are over there risking their lives today to be all of a sudden. Let me just mention one little thing in here that you're not aware of. One of the provisions that would be dropped if we didn't have a bill would be the reenlistment bonuses for flyers. If you take an aviator in the Air Force who is qualified for F-22, that's the top, you have a choice. Either you give him his bonus or we have to retrain someone. A bonus is a 10-year bonus of $250,000, $25,000 a year. If we have to retrain someone, it's $17 million.
And I'm all for doing that, Senator, but that doesn't mean you can't just stand there and say, we're not going to give up the bonuses and we're not going to take the cuts out of this, Mr. President, and no one fought for this. No one went public. No one stood in the well of the Senate and said, hell no. And I can't understand why Republicans won't call the president on this, won't call Carl Levin on this. I can't believe, I cannot simply believe that Buck McKeon rolled over.
I understand this. The reason is that we couldn't get it on the floor. Sure, we can yell and scream. We made speeches on the floor, but we could never get the bill on the floor after we had it out of committee on the 22nd of May.
All you have to do is wait till
January. Under our rules,
January.
you can't bring the bill up. It has to be the majority leader.
But on January 6th, you can. That's why I do not understand. I think it's because of the vanity of the Congress not wanting to pass this bill for the first time in 54 years because of Harry Reid. And I understand institutional vanity, but I do not understand putting $5 billion price tag on institutional vanity. You guys should just say no and absolutely turn down this. It's outrageous to do this to these kids.
Well, it'd be an outrage to do to these kids for them not to have their bonus, not have hazard pay, not to have all these things that will terminate on the 31st. We wouldn't have any choice.
And you will restore it on the 6th.
We would go in if we, and I'm, one of the commitments that we have is this is never not going to happen again because we can preclude it from happening. There's one reason it happened, and that was we couldn't bring the bill up on the floor.
I'm going to tell Ron Johnson, I think he's crazy running for re-election to vote for this thing. I think any Republican who doesn't filibuster this is crazy, and it's because that 6 days does not matter to me, and you can restore all that money. Am I not right, Senator? You can restore all that lost money that you're worried about on January 6th. You can pass a bill in regular order that's an NDAA that does not cut the troops and send it to the president.
What is now scheduled is to start setting up the committees, getting the people on subcommittees. It would be probably the 25th or so of January before we could do it. And did you know that in February we start the new bill for fiscal year 2016? All I'm saying is you got to have. I'm in a different position than you are. We have to support these guys. Look, I'm the guy that goes over and spends New Year's Eve with them in Pakistan, and I'm totally devoted to these kids that are out there.
But you know what happens when the basic housing allowance for an E3 doesn't keep up with inflation. I talked to Marlon the Marine, who's my associate producer out here, who spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, did combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. And when you hit the basic housing allowance, you're hitting the wife at home. They can't keep up with inflation, and it's all because you guys wouldn't stand and fight. And I think they would have folded if anyone had made an issue about this. But you guys, honestly...
All right, now, I've got to interrupt you here.
Go ahead.
What do you think was done to the housing allowance? What has been told to you?
You have reduced it 1% under inflation. Their rise will be 1% less than inflation by market.
Okay.
Am I right about that?
Yeah, it's 1%. The reason I say that is because it started out being 7%.
Well, just because you stopped the pay, I'm glad you guys fought them off, but why didn't you take it to the public? You would win this. We won this last year. Lindsey Graham won this. You could turn around right now and scuttle this deal and win this, Senator. Everybody stands with the troops. They hate this small beer crap going after the young kids in the military who fought this war in order to fund the president's, I don't know, the stuff that we spend money on that's ridiculous.
I know it is. You're singing my song. Exactly. That's what I have said more than anyone else on the floor of the United States Senate, how much we're blowing. And, of course, I concentrate on what he's spending on global warming and all of his environmental stuff. That's what's killing us militarily. That's the reason we're in the position we're in addition to all those systems that I told you 6 years ago that he cut to start his disarming of America. He has taken out $487 billion since that time. And if he goes through sequestration, any of the generals will tell you that we cannot do that. Right now, this is the first time. Look, I just got back from Ukraine. I was over there. The wonderful thing happened over there, Poroshenko. They had the greatest election in history. It's the first time in 96 years that the communists will not have one seat in their parliament. It's a huge success. We're over there right now trying to do something for them. We don't have the resources to do it because of this administration.
And we're sending 3,000 kids to fight Ebola in Africa. And while they're over there, we're insisting that their spouses and their children increase their copays on their prescriptions. I was
yelling and screaming about that and was unable to stop that from happening.
Well, you guys didn't. Why didn't you go to the people?
Now, keep in mind, at that time and even today until January, the Democrats had control of the Senate.
But you can turn around right now. You can walk over to Carl Levin, Senator Inhofe, and say, Carl, deal's off. I'm hearing from the military. We're not doing this. I'm going to filibuster it. I'm going to stop it. Would you do that? You can stop this.
Well, that is over in the House right now. They are going to, in fact, I think it may be already done. I don't know. But where you and I differ is I'm not going to oppose the Senate, the bill. This is the one thing. If you read the Constitution, there are two things we're supposed to be doing here. One is defending America. That's what this is all about. And the other thing is roads and highways. In Article 1, Section 8, that's all we're supposed to be doing. But this administration, and I've been the one talking about this, and we're to a point.
That's why Senator. That's why
we're going to take over control of the Senate.
You and Buck McKeon,
we can do it right.
You and Buck McKeon are the guys I expected to stop them looting the uniformed military, and you guys didn't do it. I can't believe this. I'm arguing with James Inhofe, who is a stalwart. You could still stop this, Senator. I hope you will. It's outrageous that these kids are taking a cut at Christmas time. $200 for an E3, 21-year-old next year, and a basic housing allowance. Senator, thank you for joining me. I'm just very disappointed. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances. I'll be right back, America. It's the Hugh Hewitt Show. I hope that you call your congressman and senator and just completely scream at him. I cannot believe they did this today. I really didn't think they were going to do it. They have actually paid for the Iraq war that is ongoing now and the Syrian operations by cuts to the military benefits. And they did so by taking what was supposed to be a 1.8% pay raise and making it 1%. And by saying we're not going to match the rental cost in your neck of the woods, wherever you live on the economy, it's called, we're going to give you 1% less than that. And I'm going to make you start paying copays on your prescription drugs. And we're going to do that in December because we got to raise $5 billion for the president's, as opposed to just appropriating. They've got like $600 billion deficits, and they can't pay the military. Let me tell you what's really driving this thing is institutional pride. It is vanity of Buck McKeon and Carl Levin. They don't want to leave Congress. They couldn't do anything. Harry Reid screwed this up all year long, and President Obama and Republicans are now going along with the screwing of the military. I do not know why we bother to win elections when we turn around and screw the people that we campaign on.